Julian, Steve, take one, action. Latin America has numerous cultures and races: white, black, Asian, mestizo, mestiza, biracial, you name it. However, numerous Latinos who are not black or half black want to cling to blackness, whether by their aesthetics, music, style, proximity to blackness, and who they partner with. In today's video, I am going to discuss 5 Latin American artists who cosplay as black in 2025. Then we can go from here. Okay, mi gente, okay. We can start now. Before anyone says this, I'm going to talk a bit about my background. I am from the Bronx, born and raised, but my parents are from Honduras, meaning that would mean I am a Honduran American, a Afro-Honduran, and or a Ghanaian Honduran American, or just Ghanaian American, whatever floats your boat. Sorry, there's a bit of commotion going on, so I had to close the windows in my room. The windows in the living room are open, so if you're hearing the rain, that's why. Sorry, but I need the windows open. Anyways, because of my parents' background and me being an American, some people who tend to criticize Americans, specifically Latin Americans who were born in America, they would try to criticize us very harshly online when it comes to our perspectives, when it comes to people who either live in a Latin American country trying to appropriate American culture, especially Black American culture or Black cultures, period. And instead of these people trying to listen and learn from us, they will get offended easily because of our criticisms. And it's like, how are you going to learn from us Latinos who are from America, where we're born in America, hear from our perspectives instead of just getting offended easily or disqualifying our experiences due to the fact that we're American. Now to los artistas. The artists I am mentioning in this video have slightly popped off recently, and though they became bigger as of 2025. I do want to warn that 4 of the 5 artists are reggaeton artists, whereas one of them is a singer. I closed the windows. For starters, Sasha Cabot is a London artist. Her father happens to be British and her mother is Colombian. People on the internet have been debating on whether or not we should put more attention onto her as a white Latin artist making R&B music. This leads to this discussion of cultural appropriation for the way she dresses and her style of music. People, and by people specifically, Black people are tired. We are tired of non-Black artists, especially white artists, tipping their toes into genres that are predominantly Black, especially Black American styles of music. And I'm seeing in the comments that there are a couple of Black people trying to validate her being in the culture because she's been grinding in the industry for so long. She's very talented, she sings good, and she's Latina. Of course she could be singing about R&B, which is a very, very dumb take. Just because she's Latina doesn't mean she has to be in R&B. She's still a white Latina in the Black genre. And I'm really getting tired of Black people coming with this rhetoric. Just say you like a white face making Black music. That's it, just say it. Because making these excuses as to why you like this artist, and then you try to add on that they are a minority because of their ethnic background, even though you could be a Latino and or Hispanic and be someone who is of a different race. Race in Latin America is diverse. There are different types of Latin Americans. And whenever we call it out, which is people who either don't like Sasha and or just don't feel comfortable with her in the culture too much and or neutral about her, but they still feel iffy about her, or they plainly just don't like her. People don't want to hear our criticisms, and it's tiring. Up next is Young Miko. I've talked about her numerous times on my channel, so she is no surprise to any of you familiar with my content. But if you're not familiar with Young Miko is a reggaeton artist. As you can see, she's a white Latina, but she really wants to cosplay as a black man, specifically a black man in the hood and or in the urban area. J Balvin is of Colombian heritage. As you can see, J Balvin is essentially white too. And I've talked about J Balvin numerous times on my channel, so this is nothing new as well when it comes to him if you're familiar with my content. I think it's Archangel or Archangel, whatever. Archangel was born in New York City, but he traveled in between New York City and Puerto Rico, and he has Dominican parents. Looking at Archangel, he's giving mestizo, like the way he looks. Does that give him a pass to jump into reggaeton and or dress in these aesthetics? Not necessarily, but in his situation compared to the last three artists, I'm a bit flexible, only because he was born in New York City. I'm pretty sure he was in the urban, and I'm using that word loosely, urban environment. I'm not sure about the hood, but I'm assuming an urban environment. Does that excuse him of cultural appropriation? No, but what I'm saying is that there could be nuances there only because of the way he grew up and the extent to it. I'm somewhat flexible with him. Not too much though, but just a tiny bit. Finally, Mike Towers. Mike Towers is a Puerto Rican reggaeton artist. As you can see, Mike Towers is mestizo too. However, apparently one of his parents is half black. So because of that one parent being half black, he identifies as Afro-Latino, even though that's not how the label works. The label doesn't work like that, but I guess he identifies with it because of his mother being mixed, but that don't make sense because you don't even present as an Afro-Latino. I didn't even thought he was Afro-Latino. I mean, he's not, but what I'm saying is, by looking at him, you would never thought he was an Afro-Latino because he doesn't look like it, because that's not what he is. And then the women he has partnered with also don't resemble his mother. So it's like a contradiction too, because it's like you want to claim blackness, but you don't partner with black women, or at least a biracial woman. Mike Towers is like Cardi B, Anita, Anthony Ramos, and any other celebrity who is 1/4 black, meaning cosplayers, people who just have identity crises, maybe. I'm not too sure, but what I do know is in Latin American culture, we don't cling to small percentages of our heritages. We don't. If you're majority of one race, that is what you are. If you're mixed, you're mixed. If you're multiple races, that is what you are too. We don't do this one drop rule thing that these celebrities are doing. And sure, some of them are American, so it's kind of not surprising that they're going to assimilate to American culture. But what I'm saying is that these people just want to do anything to get into the black market in the United States. That's a bigger conversation for another day. So we're gonna move on to the next section of this video. Julie and Steve, take 3. In this section of the video, I'm going to be discussing things I've noticed when it comes to culture vultures, specifically in the Latin American community. Being black is cool. Yes, it is, but you're not. And I'm specifically speaking to the people who are not Afro-Latinos. Duh. There's nothing wrong about liking things that are, I guess, a part of black cultures, because that makes us unique in a way, because we are trying to embrace different cultures, and whether in Latin America or in the United States or wherever you're from. But the thing is, when you overly do it, like some of these artists today, you guys overdo it when it comes to the appropriation, and even influencers and even regular people. But while it's a problem, it's not the big issue like a artist and or influencer, because they're going to be spreading this to numerous people, whereas a regular person across the street for where I live, I'm going to be in close proximity with that person and whoever happens to stumble upon that person. So it's not the same impact. Does that mean I want to see someone who is a white Puerto Rican acting like they are 50 Cent? No, but I can't control that, because that is a local issue that I cannot just stop with that one white Puerto Rican or one mestizo Puerto Rican. That has to take a lot of people to call out, not just one person, especially in the hood, because I'm from the hood. So there is just so much I can say and or do here, but that doesn't mean I agree with whatever certain people tolerate in the hood, if that makes sense what I'm saying right now. Genuinely misinformed. Some people can be genuinely misinformed. They don't really know much about different black cultures, especially black American culture in the United States. And in this case, I'm assuming most of these artists that I'm talking about do not know shit. But that is why you learn about these cultures, besides just being influenced by certain artists. You have to actually engage with these people in your day-to-day life. You have to be educated, you have to do your research, not just talking to these people in your day-to-day life. There's just so much you can do so it doesn't come off as forced. Because there are some artists who, I guess you could say that they act urban, but you can see some nuances when they do it. And once again, it's not forced like the people I'm talking about in this video today. Theirs is like, it's a bit forced. Once again, Archangel and Mike Towers, I slightly give them grace, but that doesn't mean I agree 100% as to why they do these things in their aesthetics, in their music. Not setting boundaries. Now, when it comes to honestly, black cultures as a whole, we have a really hard time setting boundaries because of proximity of somebody who is a Latin American but happens to not be a black person, and though somebody who is mixed with black, right? Here's the thing. It starts with us. And when I say with us, I talk about black people mixed with black people too, and the society as a whole. We have the power to talk about these things, call it out when it's necessary, and have conversations about it. When you're trying to be silent and not talk about it just because you don't want to make people uncomfortable, that is the problem. And you are partnered with these people, that's a problem too. So I just feel like the setting boundaries thing, we have to do that more as black people on social media and in real life, not just social media, because once again, the more we talk about these things, the more things can get better. And if the person doesn't respect your boundaries, you leave. It's that simple. Or you stop supporting them. It's that simple. Some people don't say it's not that simple, but if you think about it deep down, it really is that simple. You just gotta have the courage to do it when the time comes. Fetishes and kinks. Now, I'm gonna keep this PG because I know some people are under the age of 18, and or if you're an adult, you don't want to be talking about stuff like this, probably with a YouTuber. Whenever I am comfortable to talk about this, we need to talk about how some black people, and even mixed with black people who partner with non-black people, especially Latin Americans that are not black, fetishize and or have kinks with these people, and or vice versa. Instead of you noticing that you see that this person is fetishizing you, you just ignore it, continue it, and because of these things, you allow them to participate in your culture, appropriate your culture, and or feel entitled to your culture. We're not going to talk about that today because I know it's a touchy subject, and I have examples in my personal life. Not me necessarily, but people in my family, and I don't want to talk too much about my family on social media, but I think we need to have this discussion one day. I'm seeing because in the comments on this specific R&B Instagram page, I noticed that certain people that were up against when it came to people criticizing Sasha Campbell, there were a couple of Latinas, specifically non-black Latinas, in the in the comments, and guess what? Their partners were black men. So it made me question certain things about this topic. We might have to have that discussion very, very soon. Finally, not caring at all. Now, this one is straight to the point. Some people just do not care. Whether they are a black person, a Latin American person, regardless of race, or so insert a different culture and or race. And guess what? Meaning basura. That's it. Thank you so much if you made it this far in this video. I appreciate you. Be sure to like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. I will appreciate it. Let me know what you think about this topic below. I'm very curious to know what you all think. I do want to say thank you to YouTube for sending me this clipboard that I've been using on this video, and I'm going to purposely use it at the outro. Especially, I gotta thank you, the viewers. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Okay, mi gente. Okay, mi gente. Okay. Thank you, and take 4. Peace, mi gente.